Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Evil Men. Evil Men. Evil Men.
Now it sounds like an Irish sort of funeral song.
What do they call
Well,
them?
that's spooky enough. Isn't it?
Evil
Mummers?
men.
Is that what they call them? Mummers? The people who sing in an Irish wake? The
Oh, is
mummers who come
that?
by?
Ooh,
Is that-
they have mummers in Newfoundland too.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Newfoundland's doing something they did in Ireland?
I know an Irish funeral song.
Go on.
Oh, Danny boy, the
Right.
funeral is ready.
Get your tickets. They're $20 a pop. But speaking of funerals and Ireland, I think we're burying the lead here, aren't we, fellas?
We've got the deadest, most Irish guy we know here with us.
You know him as Dead, the member who committed suicide from the black metal band Mayhem.
Yep.
Just kidding. That's a callback to an old episode.
No, but he's probably the most name-dropped person on Evil Men, I think.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
talk about him a lot. He's our old friend. He's a hilarious comedian and writer. Let's hear it. Oh, let's hear it. I mean, you
Everyone
can cheer
listening
alone
at
at
home,
home, I guess.
Yeah, put your hands together for Aaron Eves is back.
Oh, hello. Can somebody be helping me with this coffin?
Oh, Aaron, he doesn't
see?
disappoint.
See?
Look out, Cillian Murphy. There's a new Irish actor in town.
Yes.
And Barry Keoghan as well.
With beautiful high cheekbones.
Yeah. I bet Barry Keoghan never thought he would be on the cover of Men's Health magazine when he was starting off as like, oh, I think I might want to be an actor. And there he is
I
today.
bet you when he started becoming an actor, like taking courses and stuff and dipping his toe in, he never thought, Chris Locke in Toronto, Ontario will know exactly what my ass looks like.
I didn't see that movie he's in, but he has a huge wang.
Salt.
Huge wang.
Salt
Great
wang.
bod, though. Like
Oh.
that. Speaking of burying the lead, the whole thing's good. He's apparently an amateur. Maybe I shouldn't even say amateur, but he's a boxer on top of being a cool actor. So give me a
Good
break.
strategy for the other boxer. Hit him in the wang.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Or you could just punch out the acting center of his brain.
Apparently
Oh.
his wang's so big, it's his coach when he goes to his corner of the ring.
His balls are rubbing his shoulders. And being like, get back in there. You got this. You got this.
They're dabbing a towel on his head and giving him Gatorade.
His own penis is what sprays Gatorade into his face.
Like an elephant truck.
Very nice.
Oh, man.
Well, Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for having me here.
Now, Aaron,
Yeah.
you lied to us
I did.
right off the bat.
Okay.
You're not doing well.
Okay.
You're, in fact,
all right.
our first crippled guest.
Okay. Well,
Admit it.
This is as much as I'll admit to. I did have a ganglion cyst removed from my foot on last Thursday.
Now, I noticed you choked up while getting that information out. Does that trigger something deeper in back of your unconscious that is hard to speak of?
Physically, it triggered something deeper, a bubble from this can of bubbly.
Bubbly.
We're drinking bubbly, folks,
And it-
here at Bob Bazaar again.
But if you're watching on YouTube or whatever, Aaron has a foot up on a chair, and that's the reason why, because your foot still hurts.
Yeah, it swole up. It looked like a Cabbage Patch Kid's foot today. So.
And you're wearing fake Crocs.
Yeah, these are just like, I don't even know what, dollar store Crocs or
Wow.
something.
And you posted a picture in one of our many group chats, so many group chats, can't keep track of them, of what I thought when I saw it in the DMs. I thought it was a strawberry in a glass of water, and you were like, this is the cyst they removed. And I looked, and it is absolutely horrific. Disgusting, a bright red, globular.
It caught me off guard because after the surgery was done, they did like local anesthetic, and so I just can't feel anything happening. And then after they left the room, I was on my way out, and then I saw the cyst just there in a jar, and I was like, I could swallow this like a pill if I wanted to. They should have taken it. They don't know what I'm gonna
I
do.
guess they just assume you won't pop it in your mouth.
A ganglion cyst is the last thing you expect a strawberry to be.
Mike, did you have a split second of going, ooh, yum?
Yeah, I mean, seeing it before I expanded the photo, I was like, oh, that makes me kind of like hungry for a
There's-
juicy strawberry. Then I
A
expanded
strawberry in a hospital jar.
it. Just like Mum I used to do.
Yeah, my dad stocked a bunch of single strawberries in hospital jars just before Y2K.
you know, like cucumber water or like
Yeah, strawberry water.
Strawberry water.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank God, Mike, you didn't happen to be walking by the hospital that day. You might have drank it.
Yeah.
Oh, delicious
Yeah.
Just
strawberry
walking
water.
down the
Flavored
hall
bubbly.
on the way to your vasectomy. And
Yeah.
Did you keep it
Oh.
though? Do you have it at home? Or
Oh,
no?
sorry?
Did you keep
No,
the
I didn't
cyst?
get to
Okay,
keep it.
that's good.
No.
That's
I mean,
good.
maybe if I had stolen it, I would be able to keep it. But they actually
You
have
threw,
to send
is
it
it
out
true
for
that you threw it
analysis
out? You were going to keep it, but you threw it out a few days later after it started growing its own limbs?
Yeah, that might be your twin.
Isn't that the ganglion part about it?
I wait, what?
It started turning into a creature.
Yeah.
And then you said,
No, I caught it in bed with my wife.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I was
Aaron, Aaron's like on the floor for some reason. He's like, what the hell's my foot doing? And the cyst is canoodling with your wife in bed.
That's it. You're getting removed. This is-
and the wound you showed us on your phone, the wound pictures, very upsetting. Very
yeah, I actually
disturbing.
don't know right now as
Yeah,
we
they
speak.
literally pinched a ton of skin together to stitch it together, and it looks like a big pole.
They
Do you know what I mean by that, guys?
Yeah.
A big pole, like when you have to stitch something together from far reaches of another side.
No, yeah,
Mhm.
Frankenstein-y.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked Frankenstein-y. That's
They-
cool though.
Yeah.
They do it so that they do purposely do a sort of a sloppy stitch so that it leaves room for when your foot swells.
Right. Sloppy
It doesn't rip.
Oh shit! They're
But
so smart, eh?
like right now, I think that I might be like a quarter of this incision maybe split back open as we speak.
Don't worry, Aaron. We've
Oh.
got Toronto's sloppiest surgeon here to help you with your foot. Ooh.
You don't mind if I just eat the spaghetti while I do the operation?
Nurse, pass nachos.
Is that mustard around your mouth?
Worse.
Oh, man.
Yellow kid's blood.
Yeah, not a nice situation for your foot. Not aesthetically looking good. Hopefully it heals and looks
My heart,
beautiful.
because
Thank
Mike,
you
we
very
were here
much.
and we
I-
saw Aaron ambling down the sidewalk in his
Mhm.
Crocs, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, poor Aaron.
It's such
Yeah.
a pitiful scene.
Mm.
Seeing you stumbling
Well,
towards
then
us.
mission accomplished. I live on others' pity.
Yeah, you must be loving this.
Yeah, no.
Any special treatment at home?
Am I being treated in any special way?
Yeah, extra
or-
special because you're injured and you know things are difficult.
I
for you.
mean, honestly, shout out to my wife Stephanie. She's been excellent, letting me sit with my foot up on a couch today.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, and she even has been doing all the cleaning up at night. It's been I felt bad, but
That
Maybe
is
you
wonderful.
might want to get a cyst every few months.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it. I'm just gonna inject bleach into my brain soon, just to get people to do everything for me.
And you're kind of just like smirking and like living on easy street. Well, shout out to Steph. You're stepping
Steph
up.
listens, you know.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. But she's an example of a great woman. A lot of women in her position, husband gets a super fucked up foot. They just pack their bags and leave the kids behind and leave
Yeah.
it, start a new life in Mexico.
They find a handsomer man with a good foot.
When James Brown once sang, "Get on the good foot,"
Yeah, he was calling women to out of their homes towards his big mansion. Right?
yes.
Well, you know how they say big feet, big.
Mm-hmm.
Does it
Anus?
also translate
You know how they also
scarred,
say
disformed foot?
Like,
you know how they say cyst removed from
yeah.
do they also mean cyst removed from foot?
You know what they say about a man who's had a cyst removed from his foot? He's had a cyst removed from his penis as well.
Well, you know
that's
how
what I was
you know how
going
you
for.
Yeah.
you have to elevate your foot, right? To go back to what we were talking about earlier, Barry Keoghan, his penis is so big, his doctor makes him rest it on a chair as well to keep it raised. Or
Oh,
otherwise,
yeah, like
he'll faint from lack of blood.
like one backwards facing chair in front of him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you know Barry Keoghan's penis wears its own hat? Anyways.
Oh. Well, one other thing I thought would be fun to mention is that, Aaron, we saw you last week, and you mentioned to us that you watched a movie called Videodrome.
Yeah,
Yes.
speaking of sitting around, you told us you watched Videodrome twice in a row.
2 nights in a row.
Okay.
Maybe it was the
Videodrome by Toronto's own David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Who we love.
We
He's awesome.
remember years ago.
Yeah. We have 2
you and-
Videodrome stories.
Yeah, years ago, Chris and I and our friend Graham
Yeah.
watched Videodrome.
Shout out to Graham.
in Chris's old apartment on King Street.
Graham is one of our friends who probably doesn't have time to listen to this podcast. Anyways, check it out, Graham.
But you remember we saw when Videodrome started, we saw like an establishing shot, and then we realized it was like just one
Yeah,
block
I was
away.
living down by Shaw and King in Toronto, and yeah, a TTC streetcar goes by, and this is at least 20, no, more than that, right? 25 years later from Videodrome.
Oh, yeah,
being
yeah,
made.
yeah.
Maybe more, 30. And we saw the exact building, kitty corner to my building, and like this weird pipe, like we were saying,
Yeah,
that arcs out of the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's
Can't
like
even really
a
tell what it's for.
cane-shaped pipe.
Was it like a stink pipe, like a sewage
Yeah,
thing?
that is-
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's not connected
No
to a
wonder
building.
Cronenberg liked it.
Cronenberg zoomed in on it and did the like wowie,
But
zoom
we-
in, zoom out on it.
As soon as we saw that shot, we hit pause. We're like, "That's a block
Hey!
away!" And then we put on our shoes and ran out.
Yeah.
and we were touching the
And
cane
patting it.
thing. We were just like, "It's the cane from Videodrome."
That's honestly a great memory to me. And like anyone who was outside walking by saw 3 guys running out of apartment going like, hey, hey, and happily petting a pipe on the street.
taking selfies with the pipe.
Yeah.
These poor men.
The pipe from Videodrome. Yeah. So that was the first time you watched it. That's the
Yeah.
only time I've watched it, to be honest, so far.
Yeah, and then
But it's a fucked up movie.
yeah, it's a weird movie.
complicated.
It's like it's got some S&M, some violence, some
Deborah Harry.
Deborah Harry, and
Who's nuts.
she's just out
She's
of her
from the
mind.
original punk scene of New York.
Yeah, like have you heard of Blondie?
Yeah, they're nuts.
She's in it.
They're
She's one
punk
of the
as
guys in
fuck.
Blondie.
Yeah, she's
When
one of the guys from Blondie.
When David Cronenberg first heard Heart of Glass by Blondie, he threw up. He couldn't believe
Yeah,
the horror rock he was hearing.
yeah, she's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Woods too, who also went batshit over the last.
Do you think
bunch
he
of
was
years.
always weird?
Probably.
He seemed
He seems like it.
cool at this time. I mean,
He's never seemed
Maybe
cool.
as he got older and
No, he's
richer,
cool and whatever.
maybe he
everything.
weirder.
I think I base my whole opinion on him based on Videodrome, Casino, and an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, that was great when he's
Yeah.
shadowing Apu
Oh yeah.
to like learn how to be a Quickie Mart employee for
What?
a movie. That's the best.
What is the second Videodrome story?
Okay, the second
This is
Videodrome
gonna be
story
great.
is that I bought it on Blu-ray, and then I watched it one night. Steph went to bed early, so I watched Videodrome. And it's, it's kind of dense. You miss stuff. So then the next night, she also went to bed early. So then I watched it again because I thought if I watch it in 6 months,
two
I'm not
nights
going to
in a row.
remember what I missed. I'm never going to catch this second layer of information.
But you were fully engaged. Now when I'm calling the first viewing, I'm talking about this time. So the first viewing this time, you were fully engaged and watched it by yourself the whole way through.
Yes.
And where
Okay.
were your children when you watched the film?
My 2 children were sound asleep in their beds, dreaming of God knows what, Santa Claus, But I'm downstairs. Yeah, I watched Videodrome 2 times in a row, and then when I told Steph this in the morning, she also remembered that like recently I had watched Crash and Naked Lunch and
You're on a Cronenberg tear.
yeah, like a few. Crimes of the Future, the new one, which is like, and I told her some weird, disgusting things from it too, and so she already was like, "I'm never watching that. It sounds disturbing." But then you add
The ears guy.
The back to back.
yeah, like all of this within like 2 months. And she had to do a check-in just to see if I was depressed or something.
Yeah.
We're like, no,
Mentally
I've never
healthy.
felt better.
Yeah.
I love these movies.
Like, can't a man just watch Videodrome, a movie where a TV blows up at the end and meat flies out of it 2 nights in a row?
It's how I unwind, baby.
I just picture you as the 4 of you as a family. Well, your daughter can't yet, but you're eating pancakes with syrup and coffees, etc., and strawberries on top.
In water.
And apropos nothing, you say, it's not fair that they have a Disney World for Disney stuff, but they don't have a Videodrome world for guys like me.
You have to climb inside of a big TV.
Come on, kids, we're going to Cronenland.
But doesn't he take his shirt off and something comes out of his?
Yeah, he has this like
farewell to
slit.
the new flesh, or what does he say?
Yeah,
Or
long live the new
long
flesh.
live the new
and
flesh.
he's like
right.
carrying around like people are
Spoiler
programming
alert.
him with videotapes, and he's got like a gun in there, and it becomes one with his hand. And
Yeah.
it's-
Wow.
These days, they would all be done through the cloud. There would be no videotape, no physical media.
That is true, Mike.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to lose. Yeah, it would
I
just
feel
be
like
streaming.
Cronenberg looks at the internet now and goes, Videodrome's kind of not as crazy. Eh?
He makes a sequel, but it's like a Netflix.
Well, I guess Crimes of the Future was like bizarre, and then his son made that bizarre one too
I haven't seen
that
it
I
yet.
watched.
So his son is a goo film director as well. He makes gooey blood guts movies as well.
I think their genre, but you should still make up a funny nickname for it. I think it's like body horror.
Yeah,
So what would we call body horror? Goo is good actually. Still, never
gooey cinema.
I'm not a goo guy. I don't like it. I don't
James.
enjoy.
Don't like goo?
No.
Makes you uncomfortable.
I just
Come
it makes me feel.
on.
I'm not afraid. It just I'm like ew.
All right.
Like Aaron once showed me that scene from Bone Tomahawk or what's that
It's
movie?
insane.
I
though.
didn't like it.
That's genuinely.
Wait,
did
I
not-
showed that to you?
You did. When actually Ebony and I were over, I think for like dinner, and you just put this scene on.
I'm eating a chicken bone. I'm not
It was
even
out-
talking.
it
I
was-
just put the TV on. Play the scene where a man gets split in half. Turn the TV off.
It's the sound of
It
how
was
his,
the ultimate
it's
power
the sound
move.
of how his guts fall out.
To be fair,
eh?
it was hors
when they
d'oeuvres.
crack them open, and it sounds like a
I
corn
didn't
husk
like it.
being cracked.
I didn't like it.
I
But
only
the
showed
guts go,
you.
It goes like, and then the guts go.
I only showed you because Chris showed me, and I think when I showed you, I was just like, Chris showed me this thing, and I can't get the sound effects out of my head. It's so disgusting.
No,
and
I
then
can't.
I was like, you have to see it. It's like a virus. I'm sorry.
I feel like I showed Tim too, or I told him to watch it. Tim and I have both watched scenes and stuff that make us laugh. Like, you know, when you laugh so hard at something so fucked up that it sounds like a demon is laughing through you
Right.
from another dimension. You're like, like, oh god. At Bone Tomahawk is one of those moments for sure. It's too
It's
much.
crazy. Like, I have a pretty good, stomach.
But the
for
funniest part
I
is
like
kind of
horror.
funny
It's
because
like,
he goes, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no.
I'll forget because he goes, he's like, Kurt Russell and the other guy are in the prison watching the other guy get pulled out by these creature guys, right? And then he goes, hang in there, man. You'll be okay. And then as soon as he says that, they scalp him, shove his own scalp in his mouth, turn him upside down, and start chopping him in half down the middle of his legs. I mean, the irony is hilarious.
That is true. As an
the
irony
exact
fan,
opposite of not being okay.
yeah, the guy's head on the ground afterwards just looks up and says, like, if this is what he calls everything's going to be okay, I'd hate to see what not okay is.
Yeah, the two halves on the guy on the floor, they're all covered in guts and blood, looks at him as like, you were saying?
Hashtag lies.
I think it's neat though that David Cronenberg, is it Brandon or Brendan Cronenberg, the son?
Oh, right. Might be Brendan. I
Like-
don't know.
It's like he's passing down an old, like, skilled trade, like being like an ironmonger or like a blacksmith, like teaching his son how to make slime
Or an old
movies.
shoemaker.
Yeah, like gooey movies, like passing on this, like
Did you know that
ancient
sometimes
craft.
when David and Brandon are asleep at night, elves come out and make gooey movies for them. And then when they awake, they're surprised to see new goo movies. Waiting
I
to
am,
be screamed.
if I'm like literally, to be literal, like 1% of the time that I'm watching a Cronenberg movie, I am wondering what it's like to be one of his kids. To be like, what would it be like for dad to, like, if you could watch a movies your dad made and they were Cronenberg movies?
Like your earliest memory would be like, yeah, I remember being taken to set and seeing them blow up the TV full of beef like 40 times to get the shot right.
Oh,
So when I was
the
about to
movie The
drop
Brood
out
is
of-
made about my mother and father's marriage.
Yeah. This is how my dad feels about me? And it's like some alien coming out of an ass. but like, when I was about to drop out of Dalhousie University, I got a temp job cleaning the Cineplex offices up on Yonge Street by...
I thought you were going to say I got a job cleaning the Cineplex off of the parking lot or something. Like, okay, we got to clean you.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
It was a gooey Cineplex. But yeah, no, the Cineplex offices are up by Summerhill in Yonge, I believe.
Okay.
And I would clean them out at night with this old janitor man who worked there for a long time, but I was just filling in for a bit for someone else. I think this is the place, but I think Robert Lantos had an office there. You know him? He's like a
Yeah.
producer, and I think he produced a lot of like the early Cronenberg stuff. Maybe even still is his producer. But I remember like looking at his bookshelf in his office. Is this too much? Is this
No.
But am I getting in trouble? But I was
No.
cleaning out his office. I just noticed his books. But they were all like demented.
What do you
in, like-
mean?
Like, so I was like, and like posters for Cronenberg movies were, I don't know. Man, I feel like I'm giving some weird stuff away. But like, you know, demented for a young guy. But now we're like, oh, whatever.
So what are you talking about? Like books about demons or something?
More like what you're saying, S&M, maybe perversion. Sort of stuff like that, but not like it's still above
Interesting.
board. It's still above
I
board.
mean, it's
Yeah.
certainly a choice. You know what?
But no, to be honest, the impression I took back was like, I'm young and naive, and to be an adult is sophisticated.
Let's call a spade a spade. If you have S&M books up in your office and a janitor comes in and sees them, that janitor should be able to say that on a podcast.
The only books I have at home are about mops and buckets.
A lot of biographies of some of the best janitors are on my bookshelves. Oh my God. That's so funny. I hope I'm not stepping out of line here, but as a janitor, I've seen some crazy things.
You've never told us really that you, for a brief time, was a janitor. Like, this is a whole new side to you.
For a summer, for a bit.
Yeah, wow.
I
Young,
did a
you
lot of
also
bizarre
work at the
temp
Sky
jobs.
Dome?
Yeah, taking linen, dirty linen out of hotel rooms that were just used, and sometimes basketball players, because the ACC wasn't built yet, so they were still doing NBA at the Sky Dome. So sometimes I'd clean out rooms of visiting basketball players from visiting teams, and there'd be huge sacks of weed and unopened booze just left, because I guess they can't take it on the road with them.
Right.
One time, me and some people that worked at the Sky Dome took a sack of weed and they rolled it up, and we smoked it in the stairwell of the Eden Center.
The Eaton Center.
It was some of the fucking highest I've ever been in my life, and I had
You
to go home
wait.
by myself from the Eden Center.
Did you you smoked indoors?
I just followed this cool guy I worked with. I said yes to whatever, the adventure.
Wow, that's cool, Chris. You might
But
have
then
smoked.
I noticed that like he got the weed from me, and it was me and him and another girl. And then I realized once I got insanely high and in my head, I was being used because I was the one who found the weed, but he was really just trying to get with this girl. So I'm like, I'll see you later, guys. Super fucking high, walking through downtown like Yonge Street. Yeah.
That's kind of neat. You might have smoked Michael Jordan's weed or Larry Bird's.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kareem
Imagine.
Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
It might have even been the time of like, God, it could have been like Meta World Peace or something. It was the early, no, it was like, Holy shit, it was like 99 or something.
Wow.
So who's hot then?
Gretzky. I smoke Wayne Gretzky's weed.
Well, you are a drinker of Wayne Gretzky's wine.
I love it. Number
He has a
99
wine
wine.
now?
Wayne Gretzky has a winery. Yeah,
Oh,
I've dropped in. It's pretty funny.
Occasionally, do you guys do this where you buy like a funny person's wine, like as a gift for something? I was giving like, here's some Wayne Gretzky wine, or
Snoop
or
Dogg
like
wine. There's
Kevin O'Leary, I think.
he
Has
has
Well,
wine.
Tom Henry and I both love Toronto sportscaster Bob McCowan, and he got really rich and started a winery. And I gave Tom a bottle of Bob McCowan's wine.
Did you guys drink it?
No, and I don't think Tom kind of got it.
But-
He was like, huh? He didn't kind of, I don't know if he knew he had a winery.
Here's the thing, though. You give
The
it
gift fell flat. That's what I'm trying to
you
say.
give,
Damn,
you give it as a
Tom.
gag gift, not like a gag gift, but like part of it is a gag. But I guess like it's always just like the wine is fine. Like it's good wine. It's
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
like, it's not like here's Wayne Gretzky wine and it's terrible. Like
It's
like-
usually on par with Jackson Triggs.
yeah, it's like you can do it though.
And you know you're not in your 20s anymore when you're given funny wine gifts.
Oh, Michael. So true.
Look at Tom. It's Bob McEwen's wine.
It's the wine of an idiot.
Oh, my.
Well, can I tell you a bizarre? Oh God, I forgot what I was going to tell you. Okay, forget it. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, oh no, this is a dirty secret of mine.
Ooh, I like
More
it.
so than being a janitor. Oh here, Aaron, you'll like this, and James,
Okay.
and DDP wherever you are.
But not you, Mike.
But
I don't like
Mike genuinely won't like this.
Oh, my God.
He'll be angry. No. But Cineplex, I guess, like is a distributor in Canada for Star Trek films as well.
I love it. You're right. That was an awesome story.
Oh shit! I gotta tell the story fast. But I found a closet in the basement of the building while I was cleaning it that had unsold Star Trek like themed chocolate bars. And over the summer of me working there, I pretty much ate them all.
Hold on. Next Generation or original series?
They were based on a movie, so whatever the closest one, it wasn't First Contact, but it might have been actually First Contact.
so
around
Next
that.
Generation.
Oh
era.
yes, I see what you're saying. What characters? Yeah, so like like so it's 99 maybe. Yeah, 99. So what was the latest Star Trek movie?
I guess Insurrection, maybe.
Yeah, so maybe it was Insurrection themed chocolate bars.
All my favorite snacks are Insurrection themed.
But when did
actually.
Insurrection come out?
I don't know, 97.
So that's how old the
child.
So that they're
Okay.
about 2 years old. I was eating them. I
Was
ate them all.
that Donald Trump's sort of inspiration for his insurrection, I wonder?
Oh my God, you're right.
Mm.
I think they all watched. They said, yeah, they met up on 4chan and said, let's all watch Star Trek Insurrection first before. And then
Stormed the gap.
they all complained about how it didn't make sense.
I found the wrappers for First Contact
Oh,
chocolate bars.
Oh, Mike
there we
found
go.
Star Trek chocolate bars.
Those are the chocolate bars I
Oh,
ate.
wow. They're chocolate bars with a big picture of Picard on it and Worf and,
So First
Deanna
Contact
Troi.
came out in '96. I was eating 4-year-old.
And Chris,
Hold on one second.
they're
They're
th-
selling
No,
for how
3-year-old
much money?
chocolate
For
bars.
$20.
$20
So
for
there you
3
go.
of those. You could think about how much money you could have right now if you had
There's
not
more.
eaten
Think-
them and held on to them. Till
Yeah.
Very good
oh my
point.
God, those are what I ate, and I ate them out of boxes like that too. So think of how rich my blood was working as a lowly janitor. I was full of gold.
Wow.
touching all of this producer's books with your
Yeah. Smoking while having
chocolate-covered
sex.
fingers.
Do women really dominate?
Yeah, I love the idea.
Eating Star Trek chocolate bars, looking at pictures of dominatrixes in Robert Lantos' office.
Yeah, like no one's in the office but you. You're just like eating all these chocolate bars.
Who left all these chocolate fingerprints on my S&M book?
There's
then-
caramel all over my
Janitor,
copy of
get in.
Goo.
Yeah. Janitor, get in here. You need to clean this up. And you have chocolate all on your lips. And it's like, oh, no problem. I'll clean it right up.
Do you have chocolate on your lips? No, it's a stupid disease. What kind of disease? Because I produce films for David Cronenberg. He might be into something like this. I give him a body horror inspiration. Crazy. Well,
Wow.
so Steph asked you if you were mentally healthy when
Yes.
she found that you had been watching Videodrome over and over again by yourself in the dark.
I mean, I don't know that it being in the dark matters. It's just
No denial.
like I know that you're saying that to make me look extra creepy,
No.
but watching a movie with the lights on is
I just told you I snuck chocolate bars.
And Aaron,
4-year-old chocolate bars in a basement.
it is
By
a
myself.
funny story, but you're not. You're the least creepy guy of anyone. That's the truth.
Okay, another thing that happened while I was the night janitor at the Cineplex building
Oh, is it a hookup?
was my decision to start taking Second City improv classes. So that was a real fucking moment for me.
Were you
okay?
sort of like doing little scenes with a mop or something and thought, I might be good at this?
I don't think I knew even like how to even start a scene. Just from I guess what's it called? The Drew Carey
Whose line is it anyway?
Whose line is it anyway was popular then.
Mm.
Yeah, so I was like, I could do that. I could, yeah.
Did you not know you wanted to be a comedian from a young
No, I
age?
did, but I was doing very, very seldomly. I'd do some open mics, and I wasn't feeling joy about those because, well, we all
They
know
suck.
what open mics are like.
Yep.
So I thought, if I do the Second City stuff, I'll be playing with like-minded
Oh
people.
my God! You know, I don't
And
think
that's
we.
where I met Brian Barlow.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned this, but we do a show in Toronto, Laugh Sabbath, and there's an open mic after, hosted by Everardo Ramirez.
And that's more than case in point of what we were just saying, eh?
Well, there was a guy like a month ago who was on the open mic who smoked crack on stage. Did you
Yeah.
guys know that?
And
Yeah.
he called himself Cracker Jack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is not a joke. Literally, a guy at the comedy bar we always go to. You just, open mics. Anyone can show up and sign up to do the show. And this one guy came on stage and literally smoked crack.
You know what's crazy?
Cracker Jack.
For years, I never thought of writing a joke like that. That's how ahead of his time Cracker Jack is.
But that's like the true essence of an open mic. Like, oh yeah, last night a guy went on stage and smoked crack. That's like what they should be.
I was
Was it
right
funny?
by there.
No.
I was sort of just off stage at a table. I might have breathed in a bit of crack. Like I was right there.
Well,
When he
when
did
I was
it.
a teen at a party, I had some weed again. It wasn't from basketball players this time. And there was this weird, like, crackhead mailman who used to hang out with us.
When you were a
God,
teenager?
this episode is really
No, this
full
is
of-
good. People like to know.
I don't know why I'm so open tonight. I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm dominating. But yeah, we got some good Aaron stories.
No,
in, eh?
yeah. Well, wait a second.
And I'm telling Aaron this story.
Aaron didn't offer a story about a crackhead
Absolutely.
mailman, so Chris, you're
Anyways,
in
the
clear.
crackhead mailman just kept insisting, like, smoke that in my pipe, smoke that in my pipe.
And you were a teenager and he's an adult?
Yeah.
And he's an adult mailman
And so
crackhead.
I just, like, didn't want him to, I wanted him to stop bugging me, so I was like, here. So we put, like, a nugget in his pipe and smoked it. And then after, everyone was like, you probably just fucking smoked crack mixed with weed, dude.
Wait,
I was
so
like,
the
well, that explains how
mailman-
fucking high I am.
Was this on his route?
Yeah, some grandma's not getting a card from her kids
We
that
called
day.
him the mailman because I think during the day he was a mailman, but he weirdly, like, hung out with the kids who
Okay.
did drugs at our
For some reason,
school.
I was picturing a mailman on his route, seeing you taking some weed out, and he's running across the street like, no, 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 and he just hands you his pipe, and it says, like, smoke it from my pipe, and he just watches you smoke it from his pipe. He's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
What was the rough age of this guy?
I mean, God.
It's hard to tell when you're a teenager,
yeah, when you're a
but
teen, like, everyone older than you seems 40. Like,
but don't you
blanket
think
40.
it's weird that
But I
this?
think he might have been 30s.
Don't you think it's weird that this 35-year-old mailman was smoking weed with teenagers?
Yeah.
That's what
But
I'm
we,
bumping
like,
on.
as teenagers, too, we, like, laughed at him and thought it was funny, which is bizarre.
I mean, from your perspective, there's no shame. You're like, sure, some mailman's here.
Yeah,
but
and I
what's
just want
he
to say
doing?
that I've never gone back to high school parties and smoked crack since.
I hope
It's way worse on his.
I hope Canada Post.
And I actually don't think I smoked crack, but there was probably remnants of it in his
But,
pipe.
yeah.
I hope Canada Post doesn't hire people or helps people who work for them who have crack problems these days. You don't want someone smoking drugs with kids while he's representing Canada Post.
That's true.
That's
You know?
true.
Do it on the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
but not under Her Majesty's. You know.
You don't want him handling the Queen's mail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do it on the weekend or
Yeah.
when you're occupying outside of Parliament for weeks on end.
Sorry, I as you were talking, I got lost inside my head just remembering the video of Rob Ford admitting smoking crack, because
so
I think
good.
the M in the word smoked stuck in his mouth when he's like, "I have smoked crack."
Yes, I did smoke crack cocaine.
Okay.
Probably a few times while in a stupor.
Yeah, probably in one of my drunken stupors.
Like how we get a double cheeseburger when we are drunk at
One
McDonald's.
of my drunken stupors.
Oh, that was what a time.
I honestly do miss Rob Ford.
It is
Let
funny.
me, but you grew up doing drugs in Burlington. Come on. You've got to have some stories.
Chris,
Well,
are they putting you on the spot?
No, you can cut it out. I
you
didn't
grew
mean it.
up doing drugs. It sounds like it was your job.
I mean, like,
you
partying.
were raised by drugs in Burlington.
Okay, I didn't. You know what I mean.
No, I know.
Tina
Okay.
Teeny.
I
Tina
don't know.
Teeny.
Yeah, I saw. You know how
James and
you
Mike don't understand.
you saw
That's
things in
true.
Etobicoke go all wobbly.
Yeah.
I saw stuff in Burlington go wobbly.
Did you have a mailman?
No, I mean no, not the kind that you had.
Mike, is it fair to say we were good boys and Chris and Aaron were bad boys
Yes.
as teenagers?
So it's, I guess this episode today is the goodies versus the baddies.
Oh,
Well, the baddie's got more stories.
oh, well, Michael, we'll have to
Okay. Can
share
you,
some of our sordid tales.
Can you guys tell me a story of when you think you were like the most good in your life growing up? What was the most good thing you ever did?
Wow.
I know so it's weird because I already so my brother Terrence was into like Metallica, and I was like, I'm gonna like a metal band as well. I like Megadeth, and I decided to just like the band Megadeth, who are good. You've been listening to them, Chris?
They're a harder band to love.
Like Metallica have better songs, I would say.
Yes, I have
overall,
two
but-
critiques about Megadeth if you ever want to hear them.
Well, let me just tell this little anecdote. There's a song on, I think, their first album where at the end, the singer Dave Mustaine, who's now a born-again Christian and Republican, he ends the song saying, "Rattle your goddamn head." And at this time, I was like maybe 10 or something, and I was going through like a very short-lived phase where I thought like it might be good to be religious. And so when I would listen to it, I would turn down the word goddamn on the tape and then turn it back up.
Before we get to this week's topic, we just want to let you know that we have a Patreon account at patreon.com/evilmen. And if you sign up and give us a few bucks a month, you support us and help us do the podcast, which we really appreciate. And you get 2 bonus episodes a month. We're going to do one with Aaron after this. They're always great. You get our whole big backlog of bonus episodes. And you get to join our Discord. So please check it out. If you're already on there, thank you so much for helping us.
It's only a few bucks. The world is scary right now. Can't you just give us a few bucks?
Oh, and we also want to mention that we're recording at Bob Bazaar, which is a fantastic store at 73 Roncesvalles Avenue in Toronto. If you're in the area, come check it out. It's a fantastic place to get gifts or things for your home.
I really love your use of the word fantastic.
Thank you. I'm trying to be a little more succinct and better in these sort of advertising little parts here.
It's a magnificent store, really. It's really excellent. Thank you, Sophia and Nicole,
Thank you.
for first of all having this beautiful store in the Roncesvalles area. It fits right in, and everybody's looking in the window at us as we record because they're dying for it to open up tomorrow.
That's so true. Michael,
Yes, James, it's me.
question.
Okay.
Who did you choose to be the evil man?
Well, James, you're asking the wrong fella.
You're right.
You actually want to be asking our guest, the crippled and fantastic Aaron Eves.
Aaron,
Go ahead, ask.
who did you
Mhm.
pick to be this
Mhm.
week's topic?
Well, James, I picked Richard Heene.
Richard Heene. Not ringing a bell.
Well, let me ring it for you. Ding-a-ling. He's the father of the Balloon Boy.
Okay.
Now,
This is a story that Aaron has been telling me about for at least 20 years.
Yeah, something like
quite
that.
a good time.
A long time.
It's a favorite of yours.
Yeah, I remember it was like one of the first sort of like live on the internet news stories that I followed where I was like, what's going on? Anyway, I don't
2009 it happened, so 15 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. 15.
And is that how you pronounce it? Because I haven't heard. I didn't know. Is it Heene?
Heene.
That's how they say it. Okay. Heene rhymes with genie.
Or meanie.
Meanie, yes. And is he a meanie? Well, let's look into his life and figure it out.
Okay.
Wow.
He's so good.
So, Aaron, you suggested this, and I only like vaguely remember just like, oh yeah, there was like this hoax. That's how everyone remembers it. Basically, this kid, and we'll get into it.
Yeah. I don't really remember it, to be honest.
In 2009, in October, one day for 2 hours on like CNN and like every cable news channel, there was a story about a homemade helium balloon that looked like a flying saucer that was like 700 feet or 7,000 feet in the air. And the fear was that there was a 6-year-old boy who was like the son of the guy who made it, who was inside of it, who had snuck in without the family knowing. And
Like
then
hanging from a basket?
or he was
Yeah.
inside of it, yeah.
Yeah,
In a
hanging
basket.
from like there is a basket sort
Yeah.
of thing beneath the balloon. I
Okay.
think.
And jets were scrambled, or like helicopters, were scrambled from the National Guard. The police were following it. It was like a whole, and there was intense media coverage of the thing, and it started to eventually, after a couple hours, like to deflate, and people were like, it's gonna, and it crashed, and then the authorities like rushed up to it, looked into the wreckage. There was no boy inside of the basket.
So then I think they started like reviewing tape to see if at any point they saw a little boy falling from the balloon.
Oh,
Because there were reports that
God.
someone saw an object fall out of the balloon
Oh,
at some
no.
point,
And
they thought-
7,000 feet. I mean, don't planes fly about 10,000 feet?
I looked it up today. Planes fly usually like 35 or 40,000.
Oh,
feet.
way higher. Okay. But still a third of the way up as a
Very
plane
high,
is
yeah.
crazy.
So
Or a fourth.
let me just do another little intro. We've covered most
Everything
of it.
high, like up in the sky, looks high to me.
True.
Do you guys find it weird, like, or hard to judge how far away a cloud is? Anyway,
Yes.
Mike.
God, yeah. Have you ever been on the top of a volcano in your car and you drive through a cloud? How's that happening?
So Richard Heene what is he? He's a storm chaser. He's an inventor and a former stand-up comedian. Just like us guys, he's part of the clownish brotherhood.
That's awesome.
But he's best known, yes, as the father of the so-called Balloon Boy, who came to fame in October 2009 during the Balloon Boy incident. And as I said earlier, the kid wasn't in the balloon. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but let's learn a little bit more about Richard Heene's life growing up before the balloon incident.
I
So
would love to.
Richard Heene, not a lot of specifics on his Wikipedia entry. It just says, born in 1961 in Virginia. Doesn't say where.
Oh.
Not that that matters to guys like us. Never been there. At least I haven't. His biological father was mostly absent, so he was raised by his, it says here, abusive mother and stepfather. That's sad. He has 2 siblings.
That's probably why he did the balloon boy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh.
I'm sorry I didn't know any of this stuff before I suggested him.
Yeah, it's not funny anymore,
Is
is
it
it?
too late to do
Yeah,
somebody
this
else?
is getting really dark, Aaron.
Well, I do
no,
have
I
Hitler
just,
ready to go.
I want to do the Pac-Man Ghost Pinky now.
He did some fucked up shit. After graduating high school, Richard started doing contractor work. So he's good with his hands. To this day, he works as like a home renovation guy.
Oh, that's
Oh.
nice, Aaron.
Yeah.
Honest business.
So yeah, in 19
Took his pain and turned it into something.
Beautiful.
a renovated basement. Yeah, he started doing contractor work in 1979. And he soon, around this time, he became a storm chaser
Shakedown. Sorry.
after a storm took the roof off a building he was working on.
Oh, my goodness.
Blew his mind.
And
You
blew
know,
his roof off.
storm chasers, now there is a rare breed.
Yep.
you know, most people see a storm, they don't want to go anywhere near it. But these people, I guess it just fascinates them.
He goes near it.
Yeah, when I see a storm, the storm chases me.
Oh, but it.
They storms call themselves Chris chasers.
Oh, we got another fucking Chris chaser out there.
You're getting near that guy. You're brave.
He stinks. And he doesn't shut the fuck up.
Richard Heene, he loves a BBS, a big beautiful storm. And his storm chasing has included, check this out, riding a motorcycle into a tornado and reportedly flying a plane around the perimeter of Hurricane Wilma in 2005.
That'd be fun.
This guy is evil.
He has no
Leave them storms alone.
Teach us, leave them storms alone.
He regularly involved his children in his endeavors, taking them along on UFO hunting expeditions and storm chasing missions. So,
UFO hunting.
yeah.
Oh, now
No, but I
James
mean, you
is
can't go
interested.
hunt it. What are you gonna?
I think he's the best man we've ever covered.
Rewind.
Rich is.
Come with me into the storm, my child.
I like the shape of that storm.
Get my children. We're going into this tornado.
Children
Can't go alone.
Hold my hand, kids.
You first.
Tell me if the storm's poison. And he chucks his kid into it.
Here, can you hold my camera for a second? Let's just turn that on.
Yeah, the wind got you, eh? I don't know if they say "a" in Virginia like we do, but
I think, yeah, Wikipedia says they do. But aside from being a storm chaser and a great dad, Richard is also an inventor. He's always he's always been trying to invent things and sell them to make his fortune. Right? He has like a back scratcher he made that you could order online for $29.
Oh.
And an article I read also mentioned.
just bought it. One click of the thumb.
I think about that back scratcher often in the
Really?
winter. Yeah, because I have winter itch where I
Yeah,
I just
me
want to
too.
scratch my back all the time. And then I think about when I laughed when I found out that he had made this, and you can look up a
You
commercial
have
for
to get it.
And
He's
but
your
it's like
favorite guy.
it's like half a log on your wall or something. And you because it's like you're supposed to be like a bear scratching its back on a tree.
Oh.
How come you've never
But-
asked any of us to scratch your back?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I would if you asked.
Okay, my naked back.
Yes.
I will take you up on this.
I'm picturing you, Aaron, relaxing, watching Videodrome in the dark. Who's that behind you? James Hartnett scratching your back very gently.
Yeah, what
I
Richard
would.
Heene doesn't know is that sometimes two bear friends in the woods scratch each other's back. They don't even use a damn tree.
Does a bear in the woods make any sound when it watches Videodrome?
So his back scratcher is a fake log that you put on your wall.
Yeah, it's like a half a log.
No, I wouldn't
sort of
buy that.
thing.
That's
I
kind
wouldn't
of
buy
dumb because then it's on your wall like
that. Yeah.
a piece of art.
And guess what? I think I know another place where you can get half a log. It's called Just Out of Town.
You have an itchy back. You have to drive to the forest. Oh, God. Want to hear about another kind of cheeky invention that Richard made?
Yes.
Mhm.
This is where you realize, oh yeah, he is a stand-up comedian at heart. He invented a battery-operated fan encased in a small plastic box that he says men can shove down their pants to cool their genitals, and he calls it the blow jab.
Oh,
I don't
like
like the
blowjob.
Jab?
Oh, jab.
The jab I don't want near
That's
my
an
genitals.
absolutely dumb joke because what's it jabbing?
It's actually doing a blowjob more than a blowjob.
Also, you don't want a spinning blade close to your genitals, probably in your pants. Anyway,
Oh, like
I would have called it the fan sucker.
jab. At some point, Richard, he married and divorced a woman named Patricia. There's no information about her online. Before he met his second wife, who he's still with to this day, Mayumi Iuzuka, a Japanese woman living in Los Angeles. So maybe we can relate to this kind of thing. They're artists. In August 1997, Richard was pursuing his career as a comedian, while Mayumi was playing guitar in a rock band. Cool.
Oh,
That's
cool.
pretty
it's kind of
awesome.
neat.
Cool chick. They met at the...
Did you see what band she was in at all?
It didn't say.
What
Oh,
year
wow.
was this?
1997.
Oh, so it was good era for music.
Yeah.
STP?
She was
Yeah,
in
she was
STP.
probably in. Yeah.
Richard and Mayumi met at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute
Holy shit.
acting school in Hollywood, California, and they married soon after. So a couple of actors in love. What's there to dislike about that? And the Heenes, they had 3 lovely sons together named Falcon, Bradford, and Ryo, R-Y-O.
I like that.
Falcon is a bit bold, but okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, Falcon is the shy one.
and he was the one they thought was in the sky. They thought they had a
No.
falcon in the sky.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, they're tempting fate with that
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Here's some more of a look at Richard's humor. He had tried acting and stand-up comedy without success, and for a time, he and his wife ran a home business producing demo reels for actors. And he published in 1995 a self-published book, a parody book called Offensive Driving.
The official offensive driving handbook.
There's a picture of it here, and I'll zoom in on it here. And it was done under the publishing imprint he called Dick Weenie Publishing. And it
Oh
was
my
just a
God.
book of like jokes about bad driving, and he dressed up as different ethnicities. Like he's wearing a turban.
Right.
Here he has buck teeth, and
Right.
I don't know who he's trying to be.
Like a hillbilly from The Simpsons.
Maybe, yeah.
I
And then there's a
think.
picture of him on the toilet where he seems to either be very greased up or wearing makeup. I'm not sure.
Right. He's very darkly tanned, let's put it.
And it's the book is on Amazon. It was described as a spoof humor book on how to be an offensive driver, how to parallel park at 55 miles per hour, drive-by splashings.
This sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
And it says, if you are not up for this type of humor, do not purchase this book.
If you're not up
Yeah.
We should buy this. Is it still on Amazon?
Oh, right.
Yeah, but then Boing Boing, remember the website Boing Boing?
Yeah.
They reviewed it saying it includes racial stereotypes illustrated by exaggerated photos of buck-toothed people wearing turbans and bros in Cadillacs. So
it sounded too good to be true,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I guess it was.
Dick Weenie Production Company. That's
that's what he called it.
I can't believe how low Dick Weenie has sunk.
Yeah.
no, Aaron. Dick Weenie's not real.
What?
Yeah, he made it up.
Oh, they didn't like publish like Moby Dick and stuff.
So the blowjob and Dick Weenie.
So he's got
And racial stereotypes
Yeah.
costumes.
he's got a wicked sense of humor.
Yeah.
Very
Time to put my child in the sky.
very Steve Coogan, Rye, British.
Yeah.
It's that classic Virginia style of comedy.
Sophisticated.
Did you know this though? Before getting fame with the balloon incident, the balloon boy incident, Richard and his family and their 3 sons appeared on 2 episodes of the reality series Wife Swap on ABC. First time was in October 2008, and they were popular with viewers. And in the first episode, he's yelling at the wife he got paired with. He screamed at her, quote, "You're a man's nightmare. I'm so glad my wife was born in Japan." That's just on Wife Swap.
That's
So-
kind of a bit racist.
I mean,
too.
it's such a giveaway that this guy, was trying to get famous. I mean, come on, like, failed actor, failed stand-up, failed joke author on a
Yeah.
reality show.
But they were popular with viewers, and they were voted by viewers to appear on the 100th episode of Wife Swap for a second appearance.
Did he have sex with this? Did they ever have sex with the other wife?
I don't think
I don't
that's
think so, but
That's the only possible fun part of the show.
I
That's
know.
the only fun part of the premise.
Imagine your wife goes and you swap and then you're like, oh, well, it wasn't so bad. At least, we didn't have to have sex or anything. And then your wife's like, oh, I thought that was part of the deal. And you'd be like, oh, come
Oh,
on.
get me back in there! You're banging on the other guy's front door. My wife did all this crazy stuff with this other guy. With you. Let me in there. You know what you did.
The producers lied to me.
That's the funniest way to confront a man who's slept with your wife.
It was my turn with your wife.
Put your wife in a room and I can go in the room. And then you don't come in. Like he's like such a yeah.
Well, during his time on Wife Swap, Heene on camera expressed his belief. This is not what you expect on the average episode of Wife Swap, I imagine. he talked about his belief that humanity descended from aliens. And he spoke
But
of
not Scientology. It's like his own thing.
yeah, he's not a Scientologist.
Cool.
And he spoke of launching homemade flying saucers into storms.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Aaron.
Where
Virginia
do
sounds
you
awesome.
think that life came from?
Oh, there's a
Like
there's a
us?
We're all
name for it.
laughing at him for the alien thing, but where do you?
There is a
think
name
life
for it.
came from?
Panspermia, the belief that some bacteria from an asteroid landed on Earth and that life came of it. Maybe he's
That's
onto something.
I mean,
Heene.
that sounds pretty alien to me.
Ultimately, I do think we're all made up of bacteria from outer space. Because Earth is a rock in outer space.
Yeah, we are in outer space.
We're literally in outer space right now, and I'm freaking out.
But that's a good point, Aaron. You know, could it, or maybe it's God.
I think that life
No, I wasn't saying that.
No, he was. It always gets back to Aaron teaching us about God.
I think life comes from mom and dad.
Oh
leave it
my!
there.
That's all we need to know.
Leave it
And,
there.
He gets
and Michael, maybe a stork too.
Yes.
To think any further back than one generation is a sin.
Which came first, the chicken or mom and dad?
Heene, he loved being on reality TV. In fact, he had unsuccessfully sought the media's interest in. He had pitched a reality show to be called The Science Detectives, which he envisioned as a documentary series to investigate, quote, the mysteries of science.
I've pitched that.
Did it get greenlit?
No.
The mysteries of science.
I
Well,
did not have Dick Weenie Productions behind me.
months before the balloon incident, Heene had pitched a reality show.
Well, so we just get, like, the scientists, investigators didn't take off.
Well, no, it never got picked up. But I think it was in possibly he pitched it. We've all pitched shows, whatever. He pitched a show because he was like, I've been on
I've been on Wife Swap.
Yeah, but they didn't bite. But I do have written here, months before the balloon incident, Heene had pitched a reality show idea to the television channel TLC, but the network passed on the offer. And after the balloon incident, the producer of Wife Swap said that a show involving the Heenes had been in development, but that the deal was off now. So this
he
incident
fucked it up.
screwed their deal. It doesn't mean it was going to go to full series, I imagine. But
Still,
yeah.
though, I mean, you never know, and
Yeah.
you could become rich from that.
And
stuff.
the 100th episode of Wife Swap with the Heenes, it was not aired.
They,
what?
After the incident?
was it on the DVD box set?
You can get a torrent.
Yeah,
or
where
if
can we
you
get it?
Yeah. Now, why the heck did the guy want to make a big helium balloon in the shape of a flying saucer, right?
Right.
Doesn't seem like the type of thing a man from Virginia should be doing. Now, keep in mind, this was in 2008, so it was like the economic crash
Right,
happened, 2008.
right.
His sort of contracting service was struggling. They weren't making a lot of money. His wife's home video editing business was also struggling. So he thought, what can I do to make money? And this is Richard Heene's solution. He thought that if he could create a huge helium-filled, foil-backed insulation balloon and get investors to invest money in it, then they would all want to own these big dirigibles, and maybe they want to race them across the desert, maybe in Arizona or Utah. And if he could get enough orders for balloons for the competition, he could get sponsors and maybe sell airtime for the event and make a lot of money.
You know what? When we're all pushed, each one of us, when we're pushed with our back against the wall into a corner, we come up with anything to survive. Right?
Necessity is the mother of invention, but also sometimes it just gives you a bad idea.
I mean,
An elaborately bad idea.
I'm assuming this is just an elaborately bad idea, but it also sounds like the kind of story that you have to make up to like cover a lie when you're caught. And so you're like, well, officer, I was just racing some balloons in the dark.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'll get a sponsor. And
Speaking of which, would you, officer, like to? How much can I put you down for, sir? $50, $100?
You wouldn't happen to race dirigibles in the desert on your off days, would you?
So he's basically just he's hoping to race balloons and hope that somehow it
Be like
catches on and
He's
people
hoping to
NASCAR in the sky.
Invent a sport that will take
Okay.
off and be successful. Essentially,
take off.
Yeah.
He's a dreamer.
Now the balloons were 20 feet in diameter and 5 feet high, and they were like literally just like glued together with popsicle sticks and string. They were plastic tarps taped together, covered with aluminum foil, held together with string and duct tape, and the base, where they thought the boy was hidden, was a box made from a very thin piece of plywood and cardboard on the side, also held together by string and duct tape.
And when people saw it, they said, "That's a good idea."
Damn, wish I'd thought of that.
2 tarps in a box?
Man, if I was a billionaire, I'd be investing no problem.
Here. That's my impression of a billionaire seeing his dirigible. Here.
So maybe the fan you put in your pants wasn't his worst idea. Now let's get to the
The
incident.
dick chopper.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
already better. The circumciser.
What does every man want? He wants an easy way to chop his dick off.
Spinning blades in the pants.
Okay, what is the
Oh my
That's
God!
like the
wanna-
worst Indiana Jones
wanna know something?
booby trap.
Want to know something horrible I read? That inside a vacuum cleaner there is a blade that spins to create suction, and sometimes guys have stuck their penises in a vacuum cleaner hole and it cuts off their penis.
And then they put the slices of their penis on bread and have it with mustard and rye.
But you have
Sorry.
to empty the bag as a bunch of dust, and then your penis. You do.
Someone put a penis in here.
Yeah. Your wife's like, "What is this? What did you... nothing, and we can't have sex ever again." I'll be right back. Trail of blood leaking from his pants. Just stick your dick in the vacuum cleaner again. You're fucking crazy. Why do you always ask me that?
Aaron, you were saying?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Should we get to the incident, the famous balloon boy?
Oh, yes!
incident?
Yes.
All right.
Dun.
Give me a B, give me an A, give me 2 L's, 2 O's, and an N. That spells balloon. So he built one of these prototype balloons, right? And after a few days of weather problems, Richard was feeling good about launching a successful test run. He emptied 5 tanks of helium into the balloon on October 15th, 2009. It expanded and it sort of took the shape of a Jiffy popcorn container, like the famous saucer shape.
That's the best.
He then hooked a stun gun to the basket and ran, it says here, and ran 1,000,000 volts of electricity across the balloon surface. The plan was to tether the balloon to the ground, release it at about 13 feet into the air, and then use the electricity to maneuver the balloon.
And was he wearing like a turban or buck teeth while he was doing this?
That's confusing that I guess somehow electricity can make it move.
1,000,000 volts, because as far as I can see, there's no remote control. It's like a hot air balloon, essentially. I don't know how you...
Weird. Okay.
Anyway.
You'd think the tether would be enough.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought he was giving Lightning their kids back.
So the family filmed it. They had a video camera set up, and as they stood in the backyard, the Heenes counted down from 3. Richard pulled the release pin. The balloon slowly floated toward the top of the trees out back, and the family cheered.
That's awesome.
But then the balloon, she kept on going. It just
Oh,
kept
no.
floating higher and higher. And Richard yelled at his wife, and he kicked the wooden frame the balloon had been tethered to. And it wasn't until about
Why did
30
he yell at his
seconds,
wife?
because he seems to be a yeller. He
Mm.
was like, "You didn't tether it properly."
So when he yelled at the swapped wife on the show, he wasn't joking for the show.
No, I think he
He's a
seems to
yeller
yell at
at
her.
women.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
about
just something to consider.
About
Mm.
30
Yeah.
seconds after the balloon started ascending, Richard and Mayumi claimed they realized Falcon wasn't in the yard. The other 2 boys were there. The last time they'd seen him, he'd been playing inside the balloon's basket all morning, and earlier, the other son, Bradford, filmed Falcon climbing around the plywood basket, and their father was yelling at him to stay away. Now Bradford was screaming at his parents, "Falcon's in there! Falcon's in there!" while the balloon is drifting further and further away from them.
You want to hear my impression of Falcon?
Yeah, man.
Sleeping in helium.
Didn't that sound like a screeching eagle far
Yeah.
away in the sky?
Oh, yeah, that did.
I mean,
So
yeah.
you know what? If I was setting off a big giant balloon with a basket, one of the first things I'd do before I set it off would be to look in the basket and make sure my small son isn't in it.
Yes. That
There's
I named
Falcon.
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
Is the son named
Bye-bye.
after a bird about to go in
Bye
the air?
box he loves to play in.
So Richard's first call was to the Federal Aviation Administration. Law enforcement reports have said, and the person at the FAA said Richard needed to call 911, and his wife dialed 911.
bureaucracy.
But she was crying and she was like very upset, and her Japanese accent made it so that the 911 people couldn't understand what she was saying. So then Richard he called the local TV station to ask if they could get a weather helicopter up into the air to keep eyes on the balloon, because they had lost sight of it, I guess.
The helicopter had eyes?
Richard then talked to 911 and told them what was going on. Within minutes, the Larimer, Colorado County Sheriff's deputies began arriving. They searched the whole house looking for the kid that was missing. His bedroom, the basement, the home's garage. Falcon couldn't be found. They searched his friends' houses and a wooded area nearby, a local reservoir and a park. Couldn't find the goldarn kid. About half an hour after the balloon's launch, footage of its flight was then broadcast across the country on cable news channels. So it was immediately like a viral cable news story covered by everyone.
I can tell you what room and what apartment I was while this was happening.
Wow.
Where the heck were
Where
you?
were you?
Oh, just actually down the street.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I'll never forget. I was rewatching footage of 9/11 when this happened, and I stopped and paid attention to the balloon boy. So reporters flooded the Heene's neighborhood suddenly. It's a huge story. Nearly 90 minutes after Mayumi's 911 call, with an entire nation watching, the balloon began deflating.
Uh-oh.
And it was like 7,000 feet at its maximum height.
Yo, if Falcon's in there, this is not going to be good.
No. So one side, she started a sagging, and the silver bag slowly circled a freshly planted field about 50 miles from the Heene's home. As the balloon plopped onto the ground, deputies and an ambulance converged. They searched the craft. Falcon, the 6-year-old boy, wasn't there.
Oh my God, he
Wow.
went
So he
to
was
heaven?
sitting on a cloud, or
Yeah.
eating Philly cream cheese.
A deputy reported seeing an object fall out of the balloon a few miles earlier.
Oh my god!
And for the next hour, the Heenes say they wondered if their son was dead.
Uh-oh.
With deputies still searching, Richard and Mayumi were crying in the living room. As one investigator was making a call from the kitchen, he heard a shriek. What the heck? Falcon had just shown up. He told his parents he'd been hiding inside a box in the garage's attic. He told the police that he thought he'd get in trouble because he'd been climbing around the balloon's basket and had been scolded by his father before the launch. Safe in his hiding place, he'd been playing with toy cars and fallen asleep.
It sounds like a damn
And
Mother Goose fairy tale.
and how long was this whole ordeal from the balloons gone? to-
Less than 3 hours?
Oh, okay, so it was pretty tight.
Yeah.
Wow.
The total cost of the search and rescue effort was estimated at $40,000.
Not too bad.
Helicopter flights alone during the rescue operation cost
Do you need
$14,000.
$40,000? I can give you that.
I could have paid for that search and rescue.
I mean, I'd be pretty broke after,
Yeah,
but I could
but
do it.
still, I could have done it.
I think I can do it.
Hold on, let me just call
Let me just
somebody.
check my ACTRA RSP.
I will definitely be able to pay for that search and rescue next Tuesday.
So good news, right? The boy didn't die and fall out of the sky.
Yay!
Yeah,
That's
but he
good.
was scolded.
Mm.
He was scolded. Also, it's sad. Michael Jackson had died August 2009, and Balloon Boy happened October 2009, so he didn't quite live long enough to see some big major boy news.
That is sad. That is one sad element.
He would have had a heart attack watching it.
Somebody save the boy! That's a beautiful
He
boy!
didn't
Save
get
the
to read
children.
one more big boy headline.
What if they put up a TV on his grave just so his spirit could watch the?
Is it
report?
true that during the search and rescue, Heene ran up to the officers and said, "Did you guys find Falcon?" And the officers said, "What? We're not looking for a damn bird. We're looking for a damn boy."
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh
It is
yeah."
worth saying that joke.
So what happened in the
After the
aftermath?
great Michael Jackson run.
What happened in the aftermath of this? After the incident, several news agencies began questioning whether what had happened was a hoax. The police initially said it did not appear to be a hoax.
Did they say, wait a minute, this is the guy who made the book Offensive Driving Skills?
I love that book.
No man who would
He's
wear
pretty funny. I don't know.
no man who would wear dark makeup and a turban in a funny book about driving could do something this horrible. So yeah, initially everyone was like, it seems above board. It seems just like what it is. But the same evening of the incident, when Falcon and his family were being interviewed by Wolf Blitzer on CNN's Larry King Live, Wolf asked Falcon, he said, "Why did you not come out of the garage?" And after his parents repeated the question, Falcon responded on CNN, and I watched the video today. He says, "You guys said that we did this for the show."
Oh my god.
And Blitzer,
I love it.
he questioned Heene and Falcon further after the statement was made to try and clarify what was going on. And the dad was like, "What?" And the mom was like, "No, keep in mind it's a 6-year-old boy who's
Right.
probably like a deer with his, a deer in the headlights, all this attention."
Yeah. It's
I've got to watch this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I didn't get to watch it yet.
The next day, during interviews on, and I watched this as well today, during interviews on Good Morning America and Today, Falcon vomited live on TV when he was asked about his comment that he had made to Wolf Blitzer. And again, when his father was asked about it, fueling more suspicion. I watched it today, and the kid's like, "Mom, I need the cup." And then he just barfs on while he's like sitting on his father's lap.
Yeah, I remember getting that feeling as a kid when I had told a lie and you
Yeah.
felt sick.
Really?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I always felt like I got hot breath after telling a lie as a kid. I was like, like I can feel the heat
Wow.
coming out of my mouth. I needed to cool down.
Right.
Wow.
So these two incidents, the vomiting and saying we did it for the show, started feeling suspicion that maybe things weren't as they seemed. And the sheriff's office started pursuing investigations as to whether this was some sort of publicity stunt.
They found that whenever their boy tried to talk, he barfed. They found that suspicious.
Reminds me of Will Smith's reaction to jizzing.
Yeah.
See, we noticed that he doesn't puke unless we're talking about why he was missing.
So where were you? You feeling
What's your
better?
favorite color? Green. Your favorite car? Lamborghini. Where were you?
What's your favorite snack? Snacks. How come you didn't come calling when you?
You'll never get me to talk.
I think he might have a tell.
Yeah, playing poker later when he's older.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at their cards.
It's like, do you ever see Rounders? Where John
no.
Malkovich he has a tell.
Is
where
his
he-
tell that he barfed?
No, but he, whatever. If a guy's
see it.
secret tell was that he barfed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, guys, check this out. 2 days after the incident, Larimer County law enforcement officials asked Richard Heene to come to their office. According to the sheriff's reports, up to this point, all interaction between Richard and Mayumi showed emotions consistent with the grieving process or concern for a lost child. But now no one
But
was
they
sure.
also went to
na-
frickin' Lee Strasberg's class.
They're master actors, yeah. But so now the sheriff was like, we don't know what to believe because of these two news appearances.
Mm-hmm.
They were both interrogated separately. So Richard and his wife were both given separate polygraph exams, and Richard seemed dodgy with his answers. It says the tests were never released to the public. But yeah, he apparently seemed dodgy with his answers. He told them he had type 1 diabetes and looked like he was falling asleep when they were questioning him. Weird. And his wife crumbled instantly during her interrogation after the polygraph. She admitted that the balloon story was a setup, and she explained that she and her husband wanted attention for a science-based reality show they'd pitched with producers who they knew through Wife Swap. And they thought a runaway balloon with a kid inside could be television, like, a gold mine, basically.
I mean, they're probably right? Like, if the boy didn't slip up, don't you think it wouldn't have seemed that crazy? Like a year after Balloon Boy, like the balloon people are back with a show. I mean, I could see it.
Where did life come from? Let's ask Richard.
The thing is, that theory that
Only
it was
in America.
yeah. Well, the theory that they did this hoax to get onto a reality show was a theory put forth by the sheriff.
That's good work.
But when the wife, who didn't speak clear, like perfect English, she's a Japanese citizen in America, they started saying that she could get deported
Oh, there you go.
for the incident, for lying, for causing all this trouble and stuff. And she then admits to all this stuff exactly that the sheriff
man.
had suggested was what was actually happening.
Wow.
According to Richard,
Are you lying? I just heard James's stomach grumble pretty hard.
according to Richard, his wife's interrogation was bullshit. He said, "This wound up being more about one sheriff's ego in his search for 15 minutes of fame than anything having to do with us."
You are looking for 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, may as well double down on being in big trouble.
Richard said his wife was nowhere near proficient enough in English to understand, much less to answer polygraph questions in English. She also didn't understand that she could stop her interview and ask for an attorney.
They're smart. I would love them to lead a science-based show.
In the end, Richard was charged with one count of attempting to influence a public servant, which is a felony, and his wife was charged with one count of false reporting to authorities, a misdemeanor. So they're in some hot water here.
But I think that they just said that. They just sort of said admitted guilt or something just so that she wasn't taken away from the family. They've always maintained their innocence.
Right. So he and his wife pleaded guilty. He pleaded guilty to the felony charge of influencing a public servant, and she pleaded guilty to her thing. And they made a deal because had she not pleaded guilty, she would be facing deportation. Yeah.
Fuck.
So, Falcon is over puking in the corner the whole time. But where was Ryu and Buckethead during all this?
They must have felt left out.
Yeah. They didn't say anything? They weren't being questioned?
Can we go on TV and puke? Not now, boys.
Aw, Falcon gets everything.
So
Can I at least piss or shit on TV?
Falcon got to puke on TV. Can I shit on TV? Basically what Aaron joked, but I put a voice on it.
It was good.
You're the writer. He's the performer.
Can't have one without the other.
in the end, Richard Heene was sentenced to 90 days in jail and 100 hours of community service. He was also ordered to write a formal apology to the agencies that searched for Falcon. And Mayumi was sentenced to 20 days in weekend jail that she could do on the weekends.
That's nice.
And she was allowed to wait to do her begin her sentence until after her husband was out of jail, so that
That's the
kids wouldn't be affected.
But
That-
my
that's a
neighbor,
really nice.
I have a neighbor who used to be a guard in a jail, and like back when I was growing up, when he was young, he was a guard in a jail, and he told me about weekend jail. Like people would go do their job during the week, and then on Friday at 6 show up to the jail and stay there
That
till
would be
Monday
so
morning.
cool working with somebody just at a regular job who had to go to jail every weekend.
I know. And I said to him too, like, did shit happen to those weekend people? He's like, oh yeah. Like that'd be fucking scary,
Yeah.
man. That's I don't know.
Not
Wait,
as
what do you mean?
hardcore.
Like,
Yeah, they get beat up or whatever.
week-
For being
Weekend jail?
weekend guys.
They're the weekenders.
oh,
Week.
okay,
'Cause
they
so
must
it's not
be-
a jail made up of all weekenders.
No, it's real jail, and some
You
people just come
get
for
thrown
the
into jail for 2 days a week and then extracted.
yeah.
Because
That's mean.
the regular inmates must hate you.
Yeah, you'd really stand out.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to work, guys.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, but I gotta go to work. Yeah,
It's the only time the work week is funner than the weekend.
that's true. Yeah, the one time you're so thankful to be.
Look, guys.
Monday. I
I-
actually love Mondays. I don't know what the fuck Garfield's talking about.
Guys, I don't know how I got so lucky. I killed a guy just like the rest of you, but I only have to come here for the weekends.
I'll be doing it until I die.
Yeah, anyway, see you next weekend.
I'm so sick of this prison food. I might go to the keg tomorrow. Oh, right. I guess I shouldn't bring the.
You know you can still do fun stuff on Wednesdays and Thursdays?
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. That's what you say when you come in.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if Daniel Craig is standing beside the prison.
In addition to their prison sentences, the Heenes were also banned from receiving any profits from the hoax for several years, and Richard was ordered to pay $36,000 in restitution.
Oof.
Mm.
I could get that to you. Just give me a few
Hold
days.
on. Yeah. Pull half of it.
I know what I said
What do you
earlier,
mean?
but
That's only okay. Pull all of it. I can do it.
I know what we were talking about earlier today, but Richard's in trouble.
In a
What do you mean? Guy I saw on TV.
You know him as Balloon Boy's dad. Well, I'm surprised he wasn't sentenced to his own death by his own balloon.
yeah,
That would have been fun.
As punishment, you must go in the balloon into
To live in-
space.
You must go in Falcon's favorite box. Into the sky.
In 2019, in an interview, Mayumi said, "Quote: I thought I'm going to be deported. Then I won't see my husband or kids. I won't be able to see them."
She said, kids.
Yeah, but she said eventually the ordeal brought the family closer together.
Oh.
Now,
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what,
You never stop
Naomi?
hugging each
I
other?
love you.
You damn idiot. You stupid puking son.
Oh.
I
We're
like that part
crazy.
of this story of why his son was hiding was another instance of him yelling at somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got closer to Falcon after all of this. I got closer to him with a rag. Wipe up all his spew.
so Richard has always maintained to this day that they're innocent and they didn't premeditate this hoax, and it's just a fluke that happens when you're a weirdo who makes crazy inventions, and they
And
temporarily
his son
lost-
just was being funny and
Yeah.
weird.
It sounds like he has sort of like the origin story of who's the guy who created Mormonism, or like it could have gone in that direction, or
John,
this, there had to be some sort of a weird exit for this kind of energy in this man.
Well, it definitely makes you think he's lying and that this seems very clearly a plan that went awry. But imagine it's just the result of a kid being uncomfortable on TV and his wife having maybe trouble with English. I mean, could you imagine?
the whole thing, the whole doubt began because a 6-year-old freaked out kid said something weird on TV.
Yeah,
that's
which
like,
kids could say anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
a kid could say something that's just like
Totally not accurate.
nothing,
Yeah.
not accurate, and a kid, the same kid could also just say something that was too truthful. So
Yes.
it's just like
You're exactly right.
you don't know which side of the coin it is
Yeah.
that you're getting with Falcon.
Falcon's a tricky one. There's a somewhat happy ending because it did ruin the family. They had to keep moving around America to try and restart. He lost a lot of work. If anyone Googled his
Right.
company or his name, the first thing they'd see is Balloon Boy hoax. He'd been to jail and stuff like that. So it did kind of fuck up the family.
I do feel really bad about that element. Is regardless, I think that if they did do the hoax, it's not like a horrible crime.
He wasted
Right.
$40,000
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
government. I mean, whatever.
It's definitely not worth splitting up a family over.
He's
Yeah.
kind of likable still because he's so bizarre and foolish.
He looks like
Yeah.
a sunburned older Leonardo DiCaprio or like a Kurt Russell if you squint.
Oh, is he hot?
Well, he's kind of got he looks like a dude, and when he was younger, he had kind of longer hair, and he wears jean shorts and tank tops
Okay.
and stuff.
Doesn't he
Um,
also wear turbans and
That's
false
true.
teeth.
False teeth.
That's going to bump him up the kilometer a little bit.
So
Ooh, I'm picturing DiCaprio in a turban.
here's a somewhat happy side to their story. In 2020, Colorado Governor Jared Polis issued pardons to the Heenes, saying they had already paid the price in the eyes of the public and that it was time for Colorado to move on from the case, as it was a waste of precious time of the law enforcement, military enforcement, and the general public, and that they shouldn't have to suffer for their entire lives for this odd thing that happened for 2 hours in 2009.
Interesting.
And then
Interesting.
the boys formed death metal band.
The Heene Boys.
The Heene
Are you being
Boys.
serious?
Yes.
Whoa.
And they have a
that's
song
cool.
that you sent, Aaron,
Yep.
to our track called Balloon Boy No Hoax. And it starts with now like a 16-year-old Falcon sitting in like a CGI balloon
Yeah.
explaining how like the media got it wrong.
Yeah, and they're wearing like, like white makeup, black and white, like goth style,
Yeah.
like metal makeup. It sounds like a really poorly produced metal song on GarageBand
Yeah.
filmed, and the video looks like it's filmed at like, when you go to Canada's Wonderland and you can go against the green screen and do like, a Green Day song or
Yeah.
like it's just like really
It's
low
not-
production, really weird.
It's
and
not-
they
it's no wife
yell
swap.
like Balloon Boy, no
Yeah.
hoax.
Wow. I kind of feel bad for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, the last article I saw was from a couple years ago where they were living like in a trailer park, and the boys were helping their father. Like he's taught them construction, so they all have like a business together.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean
a
they seem
science-based business,
yeah,
construction business.
yeah.
If you're listening in Colorado, maybe consider hiring the Heenes.
Hire the Heene Boys. They can build your house and play the opening night party of the house with
Come
their
up
metal
with some
band.
fun ideas.
Mm.
And they seem like a very tight family, tightly knit family. One last funny thing is that in 2011, Richard Heene auctioned the famous balloon, and he sold it to a Colorado businessman. Heene said that the proceeds would go to victims of the March 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. I imagine that's in Japan. And they auctioned off the balloon for $2,500.
Honestly, I would have, had I known of that at that time.
Yeah, that's actually really low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really helping
Should've
that
been-
much. The victims
Maybe
of
there
the
was this Balloon Boy hoax
Especially with
isn't as
overhead.
big for everybody as it is for me.
That just shows you how bad our agents are that we didn't hear about the balloon boy auction.
No, I actually think 25 grand minimum.
Yeah,
Minimum.
and they gave it right
250.
to like an earthquake.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nice.
Well, that was really interesting, Mike, and a great tale.
Mhm.
Great choice, Aaron.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is it time
Do
to
we know it all? Do we thoroughly know the story?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you did the deep dive the most.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't, like, looked up information about this in a couple of years, probably, but it's, like, definitely in my repertoire of things that I love to think about and, like, will never leave. As long as I'm alive, I'll still be talking about Richard Heene.
Watching the video of the balloon, it's really moving quickly.
Yeah.
Like, when I was watching
Like,
it today.
This is the thing. I think it got, like, stuck in my head because I remember watching it live on CNN. It, like, felt like the era when being able to, your computer actually being able to watch a video live was, like, kind of a new, novel thing.
Yeah.
So I think
Right.
it was, like, just the first time I'd done that, I was just like, this is happening on the internet. And, like, yeah, I was just
Yeah.
watching. And then, like, the story developed so many times through the day of, like, there's a boy on this balloon. It crashes. He's not on. They're reviewing the tape to see where he is. He's discovered hiding at home. They do an interview. He says that it was done for the show. It was like all of this in a day. It has all the elements that you would want in a news story,
Yeah.
That's exciting.
unraveling so quickly. So
Well, is it time to be paid a visit by the
Oh, do you guys see what I see way up high in the sky, plummeting quickly towards us? Why, is that who? Yes, it is. It's Evilometer. And he's vomiting. Oh, open your umbrellas,
no.
fellas.
Oh, God.
Oh, he got me.
Well, Aaron, you are the guest today. What do you think you would give this evil man out of 10? 10 being the most evil, 0 being the least evil.
Oh, so like Steve Urkel and who would be a 10? Hitler?
Exactly.
Okay.
Aaron, exactly.
All right. Honestly, I know I suggested him, but I think like a 1.
Yeah.
He I think it's more just like, I think that there's a very good possibility that it was a hoax,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I don't care that much.
Yeah.
And I actually would love for this family to get a show.
Oh,
Yes.
great take.
Yes.
I will say I'll give him a 0.4 for the book, and that's it. So I give him a 0.4.
For
Oh,
offensive
yeah.
driving?
Yes.
on
I
forgot about the
Dick,
book.
Dick Weenie Publishing?
Yes.
Yeah, like he was dressing up in inappropriate costumes around the same time our prime minister was.
Well,
So
that's
maybe
a
it was
good
a
point.
different time back
That's a
in
good
the
point.
mid 2000s. But I'm giving him a 1 mostly for just yelling
Yelling at his
everybody.
kids.
He's
Yeah.
a yeller.
I don't like people who yell.
Michael?
Yeah, I'll give him like a 0.5 for yelling at some of the politically incorrect photos he put in his book, Offensive Driving. Yeah, but yeah, honestly, more than anything, it's kind of just a funny story.
Fun story and a interesting one.
Yeah,
It was fun.
and it's too bad that they went through a rough time. The family was like really affected negatively by the
Yeah, I feel bad
attention.
for
yeah,
them.
the
Yeah.
anxiety, and the anxiety of going through that would be more.
Well,
than
that
it's
reminds
worth,
me.
you
I
know?
also give Falcon a 1 for puking on TV.
And kind of fucking up his family's life. Sorry to say it,
Sorry,
but you did,
Falcon.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Death
You
Metal Band's
fucked
not
up.
gonna cut it.
Well, this was great. Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You know, I don't know if there's anything you want to mention before we go that people can.
I don't know. You
Your
can
address?
You can reach out to me on socials. If you ask, I will send you a picture of my foot that I think is splitting back open.
Excellent.
Oh,
Nice.
And
hope
you'll
not.
see Aaron writing on various programs on television as well.
Mm-hmm.
And will you stick around and do a little bonus episode with us, Aaron,
Yeah.
for the patrons?
Yeah.
Rock on.
That was another great episode of